All right, guys, this is the week. We are finally going to be finishing all of the projects that we need to do before we can move our trailer onto this property and before our family can finally call this lot our home.
Oh, wow, good job, Isabella.
Now, we have been slowly developing this raw land in the Smoky Mountains of North Carolina into our dream property. And it has taken us months to get to this point where we're finally about to move on to the land. But we still have a huge amount to do. We've got trenching that we need to do. We need to finish the septic system. We've got several electrical projects that we need to wrap up. We need to finish connecting our well so that we can finally access all of that water that we worked so hard for. And we've got a ton of gravel that we need to bring in so that we can get ourselves out of the mud before winter comes. That machine is pretty cool, huh?
She was like,
so it's gonna be a huge week. I don't know if we're gonna get everything done, but fingers crossed, this is where it ends. And after this week, we get to finally move up here. That's really bad. Man, this is happening fast. Okay, so first project today is I'm gonna be getting everything ready for this electrical sub panel that we're gonna be putting on this post. So this post is for a sub panel that's gonna power the well pump as well as a future electric gate for the driveway. This post is just in gravel right now. So my first step is just to level it and set it in place. So the next step is I'm gonna be running these two cables up through this conduit, and they're gonna join up into the panel through this conduit. So the first thing I'm gonna do is dig a bit of a hole here because I don't want the concrete to contact the direct bury wires. Now that there's a little bit of a hole for this, I'm gonna cut this to length. The top of the conduit needs to be 15 inches from the top of the post, so it'll come up into the panel just right. Okay, yeah, that is definitely good. So now we just backfill all that. Cool, think that'll work. So the next step is I measured how far off this post the conduit needs to be to like enter smoothly into the sub panel. And it's basically this thickness right here. So I'm just gonna put this here and then I'm going to tape it in place. Okay, time to mix some concrete. So I was able to figure this out the other week, and so I feel like at this point I got a handle on it. Dang it, I made this way too liquidy. I'm about to find out how well concrete turns out if you get it a little too wet. I think that'll definitely work. The main downside to an extra watery mix is it could crack as like a huge amount of the moisture has to evaporate, and so much stuff is lost that it could crack. I've let it cure a little bit and I'm gonna cover it with dirt right now so that it doesn't dry too quickly. Okay, very good. I'm gonna call that done. So something that this project makes me think of that I've been kind of wanting to say is that I've always really liked the phrase, there is never enough time to do something right, but always enough time to do something twice. But I think that with my personality, I kind of get perfection paralysis. I'm starting to realize that this concept of perfection is kind of like my greatest enemy right now because I don't know what I'm doing. I have no clue, and I'm having to learn everything as I go. That attempt to do everything perfect when you don't know how to do it perfect makes it so that it takes forever to do anything. I guess I'm starting to realize that the most efficient thing for me to do right now is to accept good enough, because then I actually do the thing, I make mistakes, I learn what mistakes are acceptable and what mistakes aren't acceptable. Now, obviously, I think that when it comes to any project where someone could get hurt or like our lives are on the line, I need to be very careful. I need to be slow, methodical. I need to do a really good job. But for the 90% of projects out there where that's not the case, I'm trying to reformat the way that I'm looking at everything to say, okay, do a pretty good job, but freaking do it. Like, get it done so that you can learn, make mistakes, evolve, grow, and eventually become the kind of master that can do things perfectly. So I want to take a minute to tell you about the sponsor of today's episode, MyHeritage. They sell these awesome DNA kits that can basically tell you about your ancestry, like where your ancestors are from, as well as to connect you with distant relatives. And they're selling this kit to our viewers for just 29 bucks. Now I did mine a couple weeks ago. I just want to say I'm really excited about this. I'd love to know, like, where did my ancestors actually decide to leave their homes to try to find opportunity across an entire ocean that I happen to sail across myself, which is kind of cool. So I can't wait to see what they've got here. Jordan, are you ready to explore your ethnicity? So I'm just about 20% Germanic, 16% Dutch, 15% Scottish and Welsh. Oh, 14% Eastern European, and 35% other. That is actually hilarious. That the single highest ethnicity for me is like, kind of everywhere. So you guys should definitely give MyHeritage a try. They're awesome. They're actually running a special promotion just for you guys, just for viewers of this channel. So if you click the link in the description below or scan the QR code and use the coupon code PROJECT, you can get the DNA kit for just 29 bucks, which is way cheaper than you're gonna find with other companies. So definitely give it a try. I think today is the day. I think we are going to be able to finish up this whole trenching project and get all the power lines, all the water lines, all the septic lines finished by the end of the day. So right now, Dakota is doing some of the last of the digging right here. This is for the septic line or the sewer line. Oh wow, so that's just a thin piece of concrete. Yeah, works for me if there's no downside. Oso keeps dropping his freaking ball in the trenches. Go get it. There you go. Good job. 32. Yeah, I can tell.
Has to be straight. I'm just kidding.
What'd you say about being straight? That's really bad.
That looks straight on camera.
It looks a lot better on camera. So I just realized that for this sewer line, the actual clean out top needs a coupling to attach to the riser. But I did not realize that we need a coupling. So I gotta go get a coupling. I need to get foam. Dakota came up with something he'll work on while I'm gone.
We'll teach us how to be the circus dog and learn how to roll on this thing.
Okay, here we go. I'm on the road, gonna head to Ace. That's about a 20-minute drive, so it's gonna take me like an hour to get back, which is such a bummer. Did you miss me?
I did miss you. Yeah, I don't know if you know this or not, but whenever you do this, you go counterclockwise on this one, then you go counterclockwise on that one.
Oh, interesting. So that you don't get the same kind of twist on both sides. I fell for that, dude. I fell for that. Yeah, so at this point, there's too much fall in the line that we're putting in. So Dakota's trying to like get into this rock a bit so it can have an appropriate amount. Because if we do too much fall, we're like wasting a lot of that elevation change that we need to get all the way to the workshop build site. To give you an idea of kind of what we're doing here, the goal is we want to have the clean out as close to the tank as we can manage, because that way the trailer can park here and use it to dump the sewage, and yet the clean out won't actually obstruct like the ability to drive over here. So as close to the tank as we can get, the better. And then we have this tiny little bit stubbing out because we've got an electrical line that we're laying here. And so in the future, we're going to tap into this sewer line to run to the workshop and potentially the future house. That way, when we tie into the septic line or the sewer line, we won't have to dig where this power line is going. So basically, we wanted some amount of sewer line getting out past this power line.
Look at this.
Nice.
It's almost like we know what we're doing.
So we did conduit with the electrical cables because it's a little bit shallow here, because we had to go on top of the septic line. And so as long as it's in conduit, it can be, what, 18 inches deep? And so we satisfy that requirement. Plus, honestly, the fact that we're gonna be digging here in the future, it's just good to know that it's got a little bit of protection. What we're doing now, this is some of the last stuff we got. We're installing the frost hydrant, and then we're gonna set the post for the sub panel here at the trailer. Yeah, we should have a lot of this done here shortly. So he just hopped up there with you? That's too funny. He's like, I'm going with you, bro. Good boy, it was so good. Is that it?
That's it for right now.
All right, dude. Yeah, let's wrap it up tomorrow. Get some gravel.
Ready to get rid of us?
No, actually. That's the part I'm not looking forward to. Whoa. Yesterday was a gnarly day, dude. Like, I really like working with Cody and Dakota because it's so fast paced. I'm learning so much. I'm learning so fast in the process. It's honestly a little bit hard to film, but I've been loving it, dude. And I enjoy getting so much done. So we're basically done with the trenching. So today we are getting ready to do some gravel. We are bringing a ton of gravel onto the lot. And that's just in time because winter is just around the corner. Right now, everything's relatively dry. When it rains, the ground absorbs that water and then it evaporates, and so everything stays relatively clean and dry. In the winter, when the temperatures drop, that water never fully evaporates, and so the ground just stays wet for months, and so this can get really, really muddy really quickly. So Desiree's here because I wanted to double check that she was cool with where I'm gonna put gravel, because it does mean that the lawn is gonna be smaller than we thought. That machine is pretty cool, huh? She was like, yeah. So we are getting things underway. Hopefully we will have all of this graded and graveled by the end of the day. Got another gravel delivery. Man, this is happening fast. All right, Dakota, this is looking great, dude. I freaking love coming out of the shed and like having that crunch.
Not being in mud.
Yeah, not being in mud. While Dakota's doing the gravel, I'm gonna finish up wiring and plumbing, everything for the well. First thing is I'm going to plumb it. So this is the water hose coming to the well, and I've got an adapter that I gotta put in here and then attach this water hose. This didn't turn out exactly how I was hoping. It got loud here all of a sudden. Dakota's working on the driveway now. So basically, this hose needs to fit onto this barb right here, but there's a pretty extreme curve. And when I kind of dry fit this before I put the fitting in, it seemed like it would be able to curve up and get straight into it, no problem. But this fitting is longer than I was thinking. And so to get it straight to go onto the barb, you gotta kind of bend the hose. I can attach it, I certainly could, but then there's gonna be like a pressure pushing against everything because this hose wants to flex this way. No, that's gonna be way too much pressure. That means I'm gonna need a 90, which isn't that big of a deal, I just don't have one. I gotta go to the store. I'll finish the electrical installation here at least. All right, so this is the power that we're feeding to the well. It needs to go to this box here, but the original installers for this pump installed this little breaker box, and they didn't realize I was gonna install my own breaker panel. So I'm gonna remove this cable, and then connect this to this. Okay, so first I just gotta get the individual wires out of this giant sheath. Okay, sweet. So I went to check on this post that I did yesterday, and it's a little wobbly. I'm going to assume it has to do with how wet that concrete mixture was. So now I'm gonna dig it up. So I think what happened is there's just a tiny bit of play between the concrete and the post. That's enough to let it kind of jiggle a little bit. I also think that the pour didn't end up very thick because it was over such a broad area. The amount of the post that is supported isn't a huge amount. So what I think I'll do is I'll just dig out the dirt just around the post and I'll pour more concrete thicker, and this time I won't make it too watery, and then that should, I think, retain it really well. It is hilarious. I know I was just talking about how like I need to be willing to make mistakes and not try to make things perfect. Today, it's like I'm just going so slow. It's like the wiring didn't go the way I thought. The freaking PEX plumbing didn't go the way I thought. This didn't go the way I thought. That's it, dude. That's just me learning, right? I think my plan is gonna work. There's at least 3 inches of depth here, so I'll just bring concrete all the way up to the surface. I think that's probably enough, but I got another bag of concrete here. I don't know, I'm like paranoid about this thing. I'm gonna do another freaking bag. All right, buddy, well, is that it?
That's it.
Looks good.
Are you happy?
I'm very happy, Dakota. Except I'm sad that you're gonna leave. Dakota, just think about how fun it is helping me. You should just swing by in your free time.
Yeah, I should.
Well, it looks great. Thanks a lot for all your help, dude. I was in a bind. I can't imagine having done all of that myself. Like, that would have taken me
It would take some time, dude.
a long freaking time. Look at that. That is nice. Okay, well, I let this cure 30 minutes or so, and it's rock solid now. So thank God I was able to set a freaking post. That's good. So I'm gonna install this electrical box. What the hell? Somehow I measured this wrong. I was hoping for the top of the post to be flush with the top of the panel, but as you can see, that conduit length is certainly not gonna work. I messed that up, but I think I'm gonna be able to make it work. I'm using these giant freaking like construction screws, thinking like, oh, that'll make it really strong. But without pre-drilling, it just moves this thing and I don't end up with it level. The amount of stuff that I have to learn is just becoming more and more apparent to me. And I used the wrong drill bit on this first one and I totally stripped it. Now I can't fit the right size in. Oh boy, that is freaking rock solid. We freaking did it. I still need to wire the thing, but I think I'm gonna do that tomorrow. Yes. So I'm gonna drive on the newly graveled driveway for the first time. Let's try this out, dude. Oh, dude, that feels so much smoother. It's like driving on a cloud, man. That is beautiful. Look at all that wonderful gravel. So whereas I did not get nearly as much done today as I wanted to, at least Dakota was able to bang out a lot and just took a huge bite into what's left for us to be able to finally move on to this property, man. Oh man, crunchy. How you like that sound effect, man? So a lot has happened in the last week. If I had actually done what I had originally thought, which was that I would do all of that myself. Rent a mini excavator, dig all those trenches, lay all those lines, do the gravel. To imagine how long that would have taken me is kind of hard to fathom. And it would have cost me a lot in equipment rentals because it would have taken me so much time that honestly, like me paying Cody and Dakota, I'm not sure that it would have saved me any money doing it myself. And it would have been another couple of weeks, maybe a month, honestly, until we could move on to this property. And so I'm thinking a lot about what I'm gonna do. Like if I want to try to do absolutely everything myself like I originally thought, or if I wanna be a little more strategic about it. I feel a little bit like I'm drowning in the amount of stuff that I have to do, right? I thought we were gonna move on to the land months ago. And here we are, I've got like hopefully another week. And so I really think that once we get up here and we get settled, that will take a lot of the pressure off, because then we will have a home. It'll be a very small home. It'll be a somewhat uncomfortable home, but it will be a home. And so hopefully next week we'll be able to make that final push to make that happen. So thank you guys so much for watching. And don't forget to click the link in the description and use coupon code PROJECT to get your MyHeritage DNA kit for just 29 bucks. And as always, thank you so much to our patrons. You guys rock. It is because of you that we are able to make these videos. So thank you so much. It looks like a real driveway.
I need the gate.
That's true, man.
A real gate.
Some more cameras, maybe a little bunker, you know, for the apocalypse.
Yeah.